Hello everyone, I'm Rizwan and I'd like to do a review series of my favorite films of all time. And I'd like to start off with a film that I really enjoyed, really like, and consider to be the one of the most perfectly made films that I've ever seen. It is called Once Upon a Time in the West. It is directed by Sergio Leone, and the cinematography is done by Tonino Delicoli, and the editing is by Nino Bar. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it's done by the frequent collaborators of Sergio Leone. And for anyone who doesn't know, Sergio Leone made the Dollars trilogy, which was very popular in the 1960s. And this movie is also from the 1960s. It's in the very tail end of 1960s. It was released in 1968. So it's a very interesting film in that the really adventure, action-packed stuff from the Dollars trilogy is also here, but it's instead of having Clint Eastwood in the movie, it has another actor. It has Charles Bronson, and he plays the man with no name. Like the only name he gets is harmonica because he plays the harmonica, and he is in this town, but we don't know what exactly his reason is. But all we can gather is that he's trying to take revenge, but we don't know what that revenge is. We don't know what happened until the very end of the movie. Like, only at the very end, we see what actually transpired, why he wants to take revenge. Before that, we just get glimpses of what happened, and it all relates back to the villain played by Henry Fonda, and apparently this is his first villainous role, and he plays this very um, disgusting type of villain who is a gangster who wants to be this big rich businessman, and so he tries to manipulate the whole dealings between the train magnate who wants to have a station in his town. So they kind of have this deal between um, Henry Fonda's character. He tries to make a deal with this guy who is um, he's starting a station in the place in Sweetwater, the town that they're in, and since it doesn't go well, he kills him so that he can get that um, estate and land and also the station, so that he's the one who makes money, and then in hopes he also wants to take over the train business that is um, is being operated by this guy who's there. So we're getting this story, and we also get the story of this woman who uh, comes as the new wife of the guy who owns the place where the train station is gonna come. Um, but she finds out that the family's gone because Henry Fonda killed them. So, uh, just as a side note, I know this is like a spoiler, but these are all things that happen at the very start of the movie. So I don't know if I can say it's a spoiler. And it's also a very recurring theme that is shown in Sergio Leone films, where at the start of the movie there's a family who gets killed or a group of people who get killed. So these are all just part of his like storytelling, what he wants to show, what he wants to say. So yeah, so I hope it doesn't seem like this is just spoiling the movie. Anyways, so all these things are happening, and this harmonica character is also there, and he wants to take revenge on Henry Fonda's character, but we don't know why. So since he doesn't like him, he tries to work with the woman who came to town. It's played by Claudia Cardinelli, like the one who married the guy who owns the still Sweetwater. So these are all taking place in this very Western landscape where people are getting killed. We don't know, like there's almost no authority in that. There's a level of anarchy and this level of hopelessness that is present in the movie, because these gangsters just come in, they just kill uh, a family and just walk off free and get the money from. They just keep stealing and manipulating the people. So it shows this very evil way of like how these people are, these gangsters, because it's the Wild West, right? That's what this movie is about. It's about the Wild West, um, and how these gangsters try to take over the progress and profit off of it. Um, so these are all things that is shown in the movie. But what I really liked more than these themes is that the way it's made, the filmmaking, is really, really strong, really solid. There's a lot of sequences where there's not that much dialogue. The action, the suspense, let um, the director lets it play out just like that, rather than explaining or just having these lots of action. There's a lot of build up to everything, and so once the violence is there, the impact is there. It's very fast, and it's also very satisfying to watch a lot of things. Um, and since it's also a very old film, we cannot see any CGI or stuff like that. There's no fast cuts. It's very methodical. It's very slow paced in its approach. Even the story, I think, if a different director took it, I think this movie would have only been a 2 hour movie or a 90-minute movie, because the story is not very long. It's a very short story, but the way that the director tried to show it, it's a near 3 hour film, and every moment is earned, I feel, because the suspense is built, the the environment is really felt. You really feel like you're part of this town. You really feel like you're in the Wild West at that time, and so I think that's a very big achievement. um, and also the way the cinematography is constructed. There's a lot of close-ups, just like the other Sergio Leone films in the Dollar trilogy. Lots of things are shown with the person's eyes, and we really see their reactions. We really see the pores in their face. So it gives that feeling of like these people are not clean. They're not perfect. They're very dirty. They're they're very flawed, and that gives it life. That really gives it life, I think. Um, and there are some flaws in that. In that this movie does have the problem of having ADR. There's a lot of ADR being used, so I think that is one of the only things that really take away from the realism of the movie, because the movie is very, very gritty and realistic in the way it portrays the atmosphere, the cinematography, the people. So once the ADR is there, it kind of takes away from the experience. But overall, that's a minor flaw in a otherwise really great film. Another thing that I really liked is the editing. I think the editing is so methodical, and it really understands the time that is needed for us to get into the environment and live with these characters. So I really like the editing, the way it cuts from the close up to a wide, and the way the shots are constructed in a way that it moves, and it also the editing is also constructed with the music in mind. All right, so though that is also something that I really like the music is from Ennio Morricone. He did the music for, I think, all of the films of Sergio Leone, and also other many great Hollywood films and Italian films at that time. So he's, he's definitely a legend, and this movie as well, he has such a beautiful, amazing theme, amazing music all the way through. Whenever the music is constructed as part of the movie, it's not just like the director filmed something and then the music was constructed. Apparently, the music was already produced, and then he let the actors, the the crew, all of them, they had to work together along with the music. And so the timings, the cinematography, the way the shot moves, where the shot is placed, all of that, all of the blocking that took place was dictated by the music. So I think that really makes the film um, have this really musical quality to it. It really flows like that, It flows very beautifully, the whole movie. Um, yeah, that's I think one of the main reasons why the music works so well. And I think the other thing is that this movie doesn't have much dialogue. So when the music is so strong and the actors are all moving as part of it, I think it gives a you don't feel like there's not much dialogue. You still are part of the story. You still feel the characters. You still feel the story. I think that's one of the great things about the film. Um, and I also think the the way the music is used is not so manipulative as other films where they're just using music back and forth in every scene. There are moments where this movie doesn't have music. There are some scenes which are they just show the sound effects, and the sound effects are also really really amazingly done. Like every footstep, every the water droplets, it all brings you into the environment, and you really feel that suspense as well. So I think it's really beautiful. Um, and I think the acting is also very very strong. A lot of there's not that much dialogues as I said before, so the actor's expression is very important. And I think this movie, a lot of the acting happens in the eyes, with whether it's Charles Bronson, Claudia Cardinelli, Henry Fonda, they all really act with their eyes. And there's also this other character called Cheyenne. He's played by um, I forgot his name, but he was Jason Robards. So he was also a very big actor at that time, I believe. So he also gives an amazing performance. He's kind of a side character, honestly. Like he's part of the story, but he's not the main character. It's more like he has his place in the movie. He's part of that overall story, but it's like he's not the main character. So the main characters are the three people: the Henry Fonda, Claudia Cardinelli, and Charles Bronson. So these people are the ones that the story kind of revolves around. So, but even then, I think all of them did a fantastic job. And also the entrance of Jason Robards, the Cheyenne character, is also really really solid. Like there's a the intro happens in the bar where I'm not sure if I should spoil, but he's we don't see his face at the start, so we just see that there's this guy who shoots up people. He enters into the bar, and he's running away from the police, and he still has the um, handcuffs on him, and he just goes in. He orders I think he steals the beer or alcohol, and he drinks it, and the camera pans up to reveal his face, and we see that he has handcuffs, and we also reveal his face. So it's like such a strong visual storytelling where they don't use the dialogues. It's so there's so much thought put into it that it's so amazing, honestly. So I think that kind of direction is so strong. I think it's missing nowadays. I wish more directors utilize that kind of strong visual metaphor storytelling instead of saying things through dialogues. Um, yeah, I think it's not the only scene. There's many scenes all throughout where a lot of things are conveyed through visuals. Um, a lot of things that you don't understand until it comes to the end. Like, for example, Charles Bronson would do something very like, it feels like he's going to abuse this woman, harass this woman, but it turns out he's actually protecting her, and that is actually the reason why he did what he did. So all these things are like, we only know the real thing until it ends. That kind of suspense, this very methodical storytelling is, I think, very strong. You gotta really trust the audience when you do that, and the audience also has to have that level of patience. So apparently, when this movie came out in the U.S., it wasn't a big hit. Apparently, it was a flop, I think, but it was very well received in Europe. When I think about it, yeah, the director is European. He's Italian, so I assume he has that European sensibilities. So he understands the European like mindset more than the American audience and the American mindset. So yeah, and also I think this is more serious in tone than the Dollars trilogy, because the Dollars trilogy there's a lot of comedic scenes, but in this movie I think it's there are comedic scenes, but overall it's very serious. So I think that's the reason why it didn't do that well. But as time went on, this is, it's even better than the good, the bad, and the ugly, in my opinion. So yeah, I think this is one of the best films ever made. Instead of listening to me talking about it, I think you should just go check it out and let me know your thoughts. I'll probably come back and do a review of another film that I really like, Once Upon a Time in America. That's also directed by Sergio Leone, and it's a very epic, really grand film as well. That's also very disturbing. And also, I'll also come back and review other films like Godfather, Godfather Part 2, um, and a bunch of other films. I'll let you know. I'll keep posting as much as possible on this channel. So yeah, that's my rant and thoughts on this film. So if you like it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.